Hey everyone! Before we dive in, make sure to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of my stories. Also, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. This one's going to make you question who you can really trust. My sister hid broken jewelry in my drawer and ran straight to Mom, screaming that I had ruined her birthday present. "Look at what she did," she yelled, pointing at me like I was some kind of criminal. Mom's face flushed with anger. She didn't even pause to hear my side before shouting at me. The world felt like it had collapsed beneath me. Then, Dad walked in, calm and composed as always, and asked Leia a simple question. Right then, I saw the color drain from her face, and I knew the truth was about to surface. My name is Emily Carter. I'm 16, living in what seems like an ordinary American household, but appearances can be deceiving. I have one sister, Leia, 2 years younger than me at 14. She's always been the type who craves the spotlight. When we were little, she trailed me everywhere. I thought it was cute at first, but as we grew up, it became something else entirely. If Mom praised me for good grades, Leia would roll her eyes. If Dad asked me to help with something, she'd pout. Every little bit of attention I got seemed to make her feel left out. Mom, Julia, is strict and hates arguments. She expects respect and obedience, and when she thinks we've done wrong, she reacts instantly. Dad, Daniel, is different. Calm, patient. He prefers to ask questions before deciding who's right. Their balance keeps the household functioning, but when Leia and I clash, I never know whose side I'll end up on. I've always been the responsible one. Good grades, no sneaking out, avoiding drama. Leia, she thrives on it. She spins stories, exaggerates, and sometimes bends the truth to get what she wants. Even though she's my sister, I've never fully trusted her when she complains about me. And that day, my worst fear came true. She set me up. It all began on her birthday. Mom had given her a delicate silver bracelet she'd been wanting for months. Leia smiled as she opened it, but I noticed her eyes flick toward me, checking my reaction. I clapped and told her it was beautiful, but inside, I felt the weight of that gaze. I knew it wasn't just happiness, it was a challenge. At first, I brushed it off. She's my sister. Maybe I'm overthinking it, I told myself. But as I replayed that look later, I realized something had shifted. That bracelet wasn't just a gift. It was about to become her weapon against me. The next morning seemed ordinary. I got up, packed my backpack, and started getting ready for school. My room is usually my safe space, the one place I feel free from judgment. I like keeping it organized, books stacked neatly, clothes folded, jewelry in a small box Mom gave me last Christmas. I never imagined that same space would be used to frame me. At breakfast, Leia was already at the table, wearing that smug little smile that screams, "I'm hiding something." I ignored it. Dad sipped his coffee, Mom rushed around, and I focused on not being late. Everything seemed normal until an hour later. I was double-checking my backpack when I heard Leia's voice echo down the hall. "Mom, come here. You won't believe what Emily did." My heart sank. I hadn't done anything, but the way she said my name sent dread through me. I ran out of my room and almost collided with Mom, her steps sharp and fast. "What happened?" I asked, voice shaking. Mom didn't answer. She stormed into my room, scanning it like a detective. Leia followed, holding something shiny in her hands, and tossed it onto my desk. It was the silver bracelet, the one Mom had given her yesterday, now broken. The delicate chain was snapped, the clasp dangling. My stomach sank. Leia pointed at me, tears in her eyes. "She broke it, Mom. She's jealous. She destroyed my gift. I found it in her drawer." I froze. "What? No, that's not true. I didn't touch your bracelet, Leia. Why would I go into your things?" But Mom's face had already hardened. Her voice shook with anger. "Emily, this was her birthday gift. Do you understand how important it was? How could you be so careless, or worse, so spiteful?" I felt my throat tighten. "Mom, please, you have to believe me. I didn't do this." Leia sniffled dramatically, playing the victim. "I wanted to wear it today, but it was gone." Then I checked Emily's drawer, and there it was, broken. She must have done it last night when no one was watching. "That doesn't make any sense." I shouted, my voice breaking. I didn't even open your drawer. I wouldn't. Why would I ruin your bracelet? But my words bounced off the walls as if they didn't matter. Mom's disappointment cut deeper than any yelling ever could. I'm so done with excuses, Emily. You were told to support your sister, not hurt her. Do you even know how much this bracelet cost? Do you understand how much pain this causes? The unfairness of it all burned inside me. I wanted to scream, shake her, make her see the truth. But all I could do was stand frozen while Leia's fake sobs echoed through the room. I looked at her, my own sister, and saw triumph hidden beneath the tears. She wanted me to feel guilty, and it was working. Mom folded her arms. You're grounded for the week. No phone, no friends. And you're going to apologize to your sister. Tears stung my eyes. Mom, no. I didn't do this. Please listen, I didn't. She's lying. But Mom shook her head firmly. Enough. I don't want to hear another word. In that moment, I felt trapped. My chest tightened, my hands trembled, and a part of me started to believe there was no escape. I had been blamed before for small things, misplacing items, forgetting chores, but never for something this major. This time, Leia had crossed a line that couldn't be undone. As Mom fumed and Leia wiped fake tears from her cheeks, I thought, this is it. She's finally made me the villain. What I didn't know was that Dad, quietly sitting in the living room, had overheard everything. Unlike Mom, he wasn't ready to jump to conclusions. Soon, he would step in, and his calm voice would change everything. Just when I felt like I had no voice left, I heard footsteps approaching. Dad appeared in the doorway, his calm presence contrasting sharply with the storm around us. He wasn't the kind to raise his voice unless absolutely necessary. His quiet authority filled the room, and for the first time, I felt a small measure of relief. What's happening here? He asked evenly without accusation. He looked at me, then Mom, then Leia, still pretending to cry. Mom sighed, folding her arms. Emily broke Leia's bracelet. I found it in her drawer. She's grounded. Dad's eyes met mine. Emily, is that true? I shook my head quickly, hair brushing my cheeks. No, Dad. It's not true. I never touched her bracelet. I didn't even know it was in my drawer until just now. Leia sniffled loudly, stepping forward as if to defend herself. Daddy, I swear I just wanted to wear it today. But it was gone from my jewelry box. I thought maybe I misplaced it. Then I checked Emily's drawer, and it was there, broken. Why else would it be in her drawer? Her words were smooth, almost rehearsed. For a moment, I worried Dad might believe her too. But he didn't rush to judgment. He pulled out the desk chair and sat down, folding his hands like he was about to interview a suspect. All right, he said carefully. Let's think about this. Leia, when did you last see your bracelet in one piece? Caught off guard, Leia blinked. Yesterday, after Mom gave it to me. I put it in my jewelry box. And this morning, it was gone from your box? Dad asked. Yes, she said quickly, nodding. Then I found it in Emily's drawer. Dad tilted his head slightly. Why check Emily's drawer first? That's not where most people would look for lost jewelry. Leia hesitated. I just thought maybe she took it. She's always looking at my things. That's not true. I burst out. I never go through her stuff, Dad. Ever. She planted it there. I know she did. Mom glared at me. Emily, stop. You're not helping. But Dad raised a hand gently, stopping her without a harsh word. Julia, let her speak. We need both sides. Hope sparked in me. I swallowed hard, steadying my voice. I didn't touch it. I was in my room last night studying for my history test. You can ask Hannah. We were texting until midnight. I never left my room to sneak into hers. Why would I break something and leave it in my own drawer? It doesn't make sense. Dad nodded slowly, eyes narrowing in thought. He picked up the bracelet, examining the delicate chain and clasp carefully. This doesn't look freshly broken, he said quietly. See here, Julia? The clasp is worn down. This bracelet could have snapped just by tugging too hard. Mom leaned in, frowning. Are you saying it wasn't Emily? I'm saying we don't know yet, Dad replied. Then he looked at Leia, his gaze sharper. Leia, tell me honestly, did you notice when the bracelet broke? Leia's face paled slightly, but she recovered. No, I found it like that. Dad leaned back, calm but firm. And why was it in Emily's drawer? Jewelry doesn't walk from one room to another. The question hung heavy. For the first time, Leia had no ready answer. Her mouth opened, then closed. Her eyes flickered to the floor, then back to Dad, cheeks flushed. I straightened, heart racing. He sees through her act. Dad's calm, precise questions were unraveling her lies. Mom glanced between us, her certainty fading. She looked at me differently now, as if realizing she might have judged too quickly. Dad didn't push further yet. He set the bracelet gently on the desk and faced us. Here's what I know, he said. Emily says she never touched it, and what she says makes sense. Leia, your story has gaps. I don't like being lied to, so I'll ask again. How did this bracelet end up in Emily's drawer? The room fell silent. Leia's fake tears had vanished, and for the first time, she looked truly nervous. Her face, usually alive with expressions, froze completely. In that sudden stillness, something shifted in the air. For the first time, the truth had a chance to surface. The room felt so heavy with silence that I could hear the clock ticking on the wall. Ila's face had turned pale. Her lips pressed tightly together, and the quick, witty remarks she was known for were nowhere to be seen. Dad's question hung in the air like a sharp knife. How did this bracelet end up in Emily's drawer? I stood there frozen, hands clenched at my sides. My heart raced so fast I could swear everyone could hear it. I had imagined this moment countless times, someone finally asking the right question. And yet, fear gripped me. What if she managed to twist her way out again? What if Mom automatically believed her? Dad didn't avert his gaze from Leia. He wasn't yelling, but his calm stare was stronger than any shout. It demanded honesty. Finally, Leia spoke, her voice barely above a whisper. I don't know. Dad leaned forward slightly. That's not an answer. Jewelry doesn't just walk across the hall on its own. Someone put it there. And unless Emily has a habit of hiding broken things in her own drawer, I need the truth. Leia's cheeks flushed. She glanced at Mom, searching for support, but Mom looked uneasy now. Her arms, once tightly crossed, had loosened. Slowly, she was beginning to sense that something wasn't right. Ila, Dad said, his tone firmer now. Did you break the bracelet? Leia shook her head quickly. No, I didn't, she insisted. Dad picked up the bracelet, holding it carefully between his fingers. This clasp was week-long before yesterday. It didn't break from force, it simply wore out. That means it could have snapped when you tried to put it on. Isn't that right? Her eyes widened. She opened her mouth to argue, but no words came. Dad let the silence stretch before delivering the question that shattered her facade entirely. Why was the bracelet hidden in Emily's drawer instead of in the trash or on your dresser? Why would it be there unless you wanted us to think she did it? It was a question no liar could dodge. Her lips trembled, and for the first time, her confident act crumbled. I just wanted Mom to believe me, she whispered, voice cracking. Mom's eyes widened. Believe you about what? Tears welled in Ila's eyes, but these weren't the fake sobs from before. This time, she was cornered, forced to admit the truth about herself, about her jealousy of Emily, the one who always seemed perfect. You're always proud of her grades, her responsibility, her everything. And me, I'm just the one who messes up. I thought if you saw her do something wrong, maybe you'd stop looking at me like I'm the problem. Her words spilled out like bitter poison. I stood in shock, mouth dry. This wasn't just about a bracelet. It was years of hidden jealousy and resentment eating away at her silently. Mom's face fell. She turned to me, guilt flashing in her eyes. But before she could speak, Dad cut through the tension. So you planted the bracelet in Emily's drawer, he said firmly. You wanted to frame her. Leia's shoulders shook. She didn't respond, but her silence said everything. Mom looked devastated. She reached toward me, but I stepped back, the sting of her earlier accusations still fresh. Relief and sadness collided in my chest. I had been proven innocent, but the truth also revealed how deep my sister's resentment ran. Emily, Mom whispered, voice breaking. I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have doubted you. I blinked back tears, unsure what to say. Part of me wanted to demand why she always believed Leia over me, but another part of me was just exhausted. Dad placed the bracelet on the desk and stood, towering over us. There will be consequences for this, Leia. Lying, manipulating, trying to ruin your sister's reputation. It's serious. You've hurt Emily and broken the trust of everyone in this family. Leia wiped her eyes, trembling. I didn't mean for it to go this far, she whispered, but the damage was done. I looked at my younger sister, the same one I had walked to school with, shared secrets with under the covers, and I barely recognized her. Anger and sorrow twisted in my chest. Dad's hand rested gently on my shoulder, grounding me. I believe you, Emily, he said softly. I always have. That was the moment I finally let my tears fall. Not from sadness, but because someone had seen me, believed me, without question. Mom hugged me tightly, whispering apologies over and over, while Dad instructed Leia to go to her room. She obeyed silently, head hanging low. The power she had held over me just hours ago had vanished. As the door closed behind her, a weight lifted from my chest. For the first time in a long while, I wasn't the villain in someone else's story. The truth had come out and it had changed everything. The silence after Hila's confession felt heavier than any shouting match we had ever endured. I stood in my room with Mom and Dad, emotions swirling, relief, hurt, exhaustion. Hours of carrying an accusation that wasn't mine were finally over. Mom still held me, voice trembling. Emily, I'm so sorry. I should never have doubted you. I let my anger speak before listening, and that was wrong. I nodded, unable to respond immediately. Her quick judgment had left its mark. I had been raised to value truth, and yet, speaking it hadn't been enough. It took Dad's calm questions and Leia's guilt for the truth to emerge. That hurt. Dad's gaze met mine steadily. Emily, you showed strength today. You stood firm against lies. Not everyone can do that. Be proud of yourself. His words warmed me, but the ache remained. This wasn't just about a broken bracelet. It was about the fractured bond between me and Leia. Later that night, the house was quieter than usual. Dinner was tense. Leia picked at her food, eyes downcast, at the far end of the table. Mom and Dad barely spoke, and I stayed quiet too. The weight of what had happened hung over us. After dinner, Dad asked Leia to stay behind. I went to my room, hearing muffled voices through the walls. His tone was firm but not cruel. He made her understand the seriousness of her actions, how lies destroy trust, and once broken, it takes a long time to rebuild. The next morning, she came into my room. For a moment, I didn't want to look at her. My chest tightened as I recalled the humiliation, Mom's anger, and Leia's smugness when she thought she had won. But when I finally turned, I saw something different. Her eyes were red, and the pretense was gone. I'm sorry, she whispered. I didn't mean to hurt you that badly. I get so jealous. Everyone's always proud of you, and I feel like I can't catch up. I thought if you messed up, maybe they'd see me differently. Her words stung, but they also softened me. I could see her struggling in her own way. After a long pause, I said quietly, You don't have to tear me down to shine, Leia. There's room for both of us. But if you lie again, it'll be hard for me to trust you. She nodded, tears streaming down her cheeks. For once, I believed they were real. It didn't fix everything. Trust doesn't return with one apology, but it was a start. Over the weeks that followed, things began to change. Mom made a real effort to listen to both of us. Dad encouraged us to spend more time together. Slowly, Leia stopped competing so fiercely. Tension still existed, but I noticed her trying, and I tried too, reminding myself she was still my sister, despite the hurt. Looking back, I realized something important. Lies spread quickly, but truth finds a way to shine through, even if it takes time. And sometimes, the hardest part isn't being accused. It's forgiving the one who betrayed you. I learned that I can't control what others say or do, but I can control how I respond. And holding my ground saved me. To this day, that broken bracelet isn't about jewelry. It's about a turning point in our family. It taught all of us, especially Leia, that trust is fragile. Once broken, it takes patience and honesty to rebuild. If you've ever been blamed for something you didn't do, You know the pain of not being believed. But remember, the truth doesn't need to shout. It just needs time. And when it finally emerges, it shines brighter than any lie. So tell me in the comments, have you ever been accused unfairly? I'd love to hear your story.